Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you say, no way. Story 1. My coworker stole my idea in front of the boss. Okay, so this one still makes my blood boil a little. So my coworker Sarah and I were in a meeting with our boss last week. We were brainstorming solutions for this problem we've been having at work for a while. And I spoke up. I gave this idea. I thought it was actually pretty solid. Sarah barely said 2 words the whole meeting. She was just kind of sitting there, nodding along. Then later that week, out of nowhere, my boss sends an email to the entire team. And it says, and I quote, "Great idea from Sarah about the new process, we're going to implement it." I read that email like 3 times because I genuinely thought I was misunderstanding something. But no. That was my idea. I said it out loud, in the room, in front of everyone, including Sarah. So naturally I'm sitting there fuming, and I start replying to people, kind of correcting the record. Like when coworkers congratulated her in the group chat, I said something like, "Actually that was the idea I brought up in the meeting, glad it's getting used though." Not trying to be petty, just trying to set the facts straight, you know. Well, Sarah found out I'd been saying that, and she confronted me. She said I was making her look bad, that she never claimed it was her idea, the boss just misheard or misattributed it, and that I was being petty and vindictive by correcting people about it after the fact instead of just letting it go. She said it made her look like a liar in front of the team, even though she didn't actually lie, the boss just made the mistake. So now half my coworkers think I'm being dramatic and vindictive for quote-unquote not giving her credit and making it awkward, when in reality I'm just trying to get credit for my own idea that got handed to somebody else. Sarah didn't correct the boss when the email went out. She just let everyone believe it was hers. And now I'm the bad guy for pointing out the obvious. My boss hasn't even said anything about it, which is its own kind of frustrating. It's like the whole thing just got swept under the rug and I'm the only one still holding onto it, except I'm not being unreasonable, I just want people to know whose idea it actually was. Is that really so petty? So I keep going back and forth on this. Because on one hand, yeah, I probably could have handled it more privately instead of correcting people in a group chat. But on the other hand, why should I have to just sit there and watch someone else get credit for my work without saying anything? At what point does defending yourself turn into being petty? Would you have said something too, or would you have just let it go? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My teenage sister called my wife mid and I kicked her out. So this happened last night and I still don't really know how I feel about it, but here's what went down. My wife and I finally got a night out, just the 2 of us, which barely ever happens anymore because we've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. My sister, she's 16, offered to watch the kids for us so we could go on a date. We were genuinely so excited, like we hadn't been out alone together in months. We get home, kids are already asleep, she put them to bed like she said she would, and so the 3 of us, me, my wife, and my sister, were just hanging out in the living room afterward. Just talking, catching up, nothing serious. And then out of nowhere my sister says, and I remember this exactly, she said the kids are so cute for having parents that are so mid. And I kind of laughed it off at first because, I don't know, teenagers say weird stuff, but then she kept going. She started elaborating, like actually explaining what she meant, saying stuff about how me and my wife are just kind of average looking and it's funny that our kids turned out cute despite that. My wife's face just kind of fell. She didn't say anything, she just went quiet, which if you know my wife, that's not like her at all. She's usually got a comeback for everything. I told my sister that wasn't okay, like straight up, hey, that's a rude thing to say, you need to apologize to her. And instead of apologizing, my sister got defensive. She said she was just joking, that we were being too sensitive, that it's not that big of a deal, everybody thinks stuff like that sometimes, she was just saying it out loud. I told her again, no, that actually hurt your sister-in-law's feelings, you need to say sorry. And she just kind of rolled her eyes and said fine, sorry, in that tone that makes it very clear she's not actually sorry. So I told her she needed to head home. Like, I appreciate you watching the kids, but I think you should go. And she got really upset about that, started crying actually, saying I was overreacting, that she didn't mean it like that I was kicking her out over a joke. My mom found out afterward and called me saying I was too harsh on her, that she's 16, she didn't understand how hurtful it was, and that I embarrassed her by sending her home like a punishment. But here's the thing, my wife was quiet the entire rest of the night. She kept saying it's fine, don't worry about it, but I could tell it actually got to her. And I keep thinking, if my sister feels comfortable saying that to her face, in our own house, right after we trusted her to watch our kids, what does she actually think the rest of the time? It wasn't even really about the joke, it was about the fact that she didn't seem sorry at all until I made her leave. So now my mom's on my case, my sister's telling her friends I overreacted, and I'm sitting here wondering if sending a 16-year-old home for insulting my wife's appearance in front of her was actually too far, or if I did exactly what I needed to do. What would you have done in that situation? Story 3. I told my friend her dream house was actually a money pit. So my friend Chloe, she's about to buy her very first house, and she is so excited, like genuinely giddy about it, which honestly made this whole situation so much harder. She found this fixer-upper, it's cheap, and she's got this whole vision in her head of fixing it up herself, doing the whole DIY renovation thing, even though, and I want to be clear about this, she has zero experience with renovations. Like none. She's never so much as patched a hole in drywall. She asked me to come look at the house with her because I bought a fixer-upper myself a few years back, so in her mind I'm basically the resident expert. So I go, I walk through the whole place with her, and almost immediately I'm seeing red flags everywhere. Like, this is not a normal amount of red flags for a fixer-upper. There are cracks in the foundation, actual visible cracks. The roof is old, like it's clearly near the end of its life. The wiring looks questionable at best, like the kind of questionable that makes an electrician's eye twitch. And there's water damage in the basement, which, if you know anything about houses, water damage in the basement is never just a small fix, it's usually a symptom of a much bigger problem. So this house needs so much more work than she is expecting, and she's budgeting like it's a cosmetic fixer-upper, like new paint and new countertops. This is not that. This is foundation repair, this is a new roof, this is possibly rewiring the entire electrical system, this is thousands and thousands of dollars beyond what she thinks she's signing up for. And she has no renovation experience to fall back on, so she can't even do the labor herself to save money on most of this stuff. This isn't paint-a-wall kind of work, this is hire a structural engineer kind of work. So I told her straight up, I said, Chloe, I think this house is a money pit. I think if you buy this, you are going to be pouring money into it for years just to make it safe and livable, let alone nice. I told her about the foundation cracks, the roof, the wiring, the water damage, I walked her through everything I saw and why it worried me. And she did not take it well. She got really quiet during the walkthrough, and then afterward she told me I was raining on her parade, that I was being negative and unsupportive, that this is her dream and I should be excited for her instead of listing off everything wrong with it. She said I bought a fixer-upper too, so why am I acting like she can't handle it? And I tried to explain, yeah, but my place didn't have foundation issues or wiring problems, mine was genuinely more cosmetic, this is a completely different level of project. She's since talked to a couple other people who told her it's fine, that all old houses have some issues, and now she's kind of doubling down like I was just being a downer for no reason. But I saw what I saw. I've been through a renovation. I know what 6 figures of hidden repair costs looks like before it even starts, and this house is giving me every single warning sign. So now she's barely speaking to me, she feels like I tried to crush her excitement over her first house, and I'm sitting here wondering if I should have just smiled and nodded and let her figure it out on her own, painful lesson and all, or if telling her the hard truth was actually the right call as her friend. What would you have done, kept quiet or told her what you really saw? Story 4. I kicked my roommate out of my own party for what he did to my girlfriend's friend. Alright, so this one just happened last weekend and it's honestly still causing tension in my apartment. So quick background, I'm 21, I'm in college, and I live with my roommate, we'll call him Ethan. We've been friends since our very first year of college, we get along great most of the time, he's funny, he's outgoing, genuinely everyone likes being around him, he's kind of the life of the party type. Last weekend I hosted a party at our apartment. It was a pretty big one, tons of people from our university showed up, including my girlfriend and a bunch of her friends. Everything's going fine for most of the night, people are having a good time, music's going, drinks are flowing, and then things take a turn with one of my girlfriend's friends. So Ethan, at some point during the party, starts making these comments toward her, and not in a playful teasing way, like genuinely mean, kind of humiliating comments, the kind that make a room go quiet for a second. I don't want to get into every single detail of what he said, but it was bad enough that she visibly got upset in front of a room full of people, like near tears upset. My girlfriend came and found me immediately, obviously furious, telling me what happened, and honestly once I saw how shaken up her friend was, I didn't even hesitate. I went and found Ethan, and I told him he needed to leave. Like, not leave the room, leave the party, get out. This is my apartment too, and I wasn't about to let him keep hanging around after doing that to a guest, especially a guest who came because of my girlfriend. He was obviously not happy about it, he started arguing with me right there in front of everyone, saying I was overreacting, that it was just a joke, that I was choosing my girlfriend's friend group over my own roommate and best friend in front of everybody, embarrassing him on purpose. But I stood by it. I told him, you humiliated a guest at my party, you're leaving, that's it, we can talk about it tomorrow when everyone's calmed down. He ended up storming out, and the rest of the party was honestly pretty awkward after that, but at least my girlfriend's friend felt like something had actually been done instead of just being brushed off. Now here's where it's gotten complicated. Ethan is furious with me still, days later. He's saying I publicly humiliated him in our own apartment, that I should have pulled him aside privately instead of kicking him out in front of everyone, that I embarrassed him way worse than whatever he said to her. He's also saying that I've changed since getting a girlfriend, that I care more about impressing her and her friends than I do about him, my actual roommate and longtime friend. A couple of our mutual friends are kind of split on this too. Some people think I did the right thing standing up for a guest who was genuinely hurt. Others think I could have handled it more quietly instead of making a scene out of kicking him out in front of the whole party. My girlfriend obviously thinks I did the right thing, and honestly so do I, but Ethan living in my space now is just deeply awkward and tense. So I guess my question is, was there really a better way to handle that in the moment, or was kicking him out on the spot exactly what needed to happen? Would you have pulled him aside quietly, or done exactly what I did? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.